The Cyber Loyalist, bridging the gap between cutting edge tech, science fiction, and pop culture to unravel how today's innovations shape our world and predict tomorrow's possibilities. Join GU and Data Streamer as they dissect the philosophies behind cyberpunk aesthetics, anime narratives, and gaming worlds to see what they reveal about our future. Like and subscribe now and get ready to explore the intersection of reality and sci-fi. The Cyber Loyalist, online now.
So let's get back to our core.
Yeah.
Companies talking about, this phenomenon, the singularity, that companies are talking about AI, AI, AI. But
Yeah.
now we have specifically Nvidia and AMD talking about AI more and more.
Yeah. Yeah.
How
It's
in cyberpunk literature have we seen this before?
yeah. Well, I would say literature, but there a lot of these cyberpunk stories they start out with like companies really focusing on AI, which is pretty funny. I mean, look at Terminator, like Skynet. It
Uh,
started at like this AI thing, blah 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 blah, and then it's like, I mean, everybody knows Terminator, and then it's like you know the rest. It's like it all goes crazy after that, and
yeah.
Terminator 2 as well. Like when they went to Cyberdyne Industries to stop the AI research, the AI,
Uh-huh.
chip. They had an AI chip that they were developing, which is pretty funny because a lot of times when you look at all the old, old science fiction and cyberpunk stories or whatever, they they don't really like they don't fully understand the technologies, so they just kind of like make up something
Yeah. You mean
like
the
the
writer
writer
or yeah?
the writer doesn't fully understand like how it actually works, so they just kind of like when it comes to technology, when it comes to like like the computer part of the whole thing, so this just kind of make up something with 2001. There was like Space Odyssey was like, yeah, they just built the computer. I mean, so it's a computer. I mean, that's literally it. It's just a computer. And it's like, okay, how does it work? Who the fuck knows? It's whatever. I mean, I'm sure they probably explained it in the books a bit better, but in the movie, it was like, yeah, it just works, whatever, whatever. I mean, the Star Trek computer is this crazy AI computer. It does all this stuff, but how does it work? Whatever, it just works. But in Terminator, they were actually like, yeah, this AI chip, which is interesting because that's how AI works these days on the hardware level. You have special AI chips, and that's what Nvidia is like focusing on the and AMD on developing their AI chips and their AI processors or whatever the hell. So that was pretty funny. Also, you had like the Matrix. Look at it's not covered in the movies, but it's covered in the Animatrix. When you look at the lore behind the Matrix of the war and all that stuff, it also started because of technology companies making AI chips and that kind of stuff. And then at one point they finally made an AGI, and artificial general intelligence. That's the goal really, which resulted in the whole robots being sentient thing, and then the robots being discriminated against or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
which caused the war. But the whole point was that these chips were developed that accelerated AI technology. So that's pretty interesting that these two IPs they kind of saw the future a bit, and
Yeah.
they figured out that it was like the chips were like the special AI chips were being developed, and not necessarily that it's some kind of yeah, well, whatever it was that the other IPs had, that it didn't make much sense because they didn't really explain exactly how it worked. You know what I mean? So that's pretty interesting. I'm sure there's a lot more that explain a lot more, that explain how it works and stuff. It's kind of like with William Gibson and Neuromancer, where he's like talk about the net and whatever, and it's like it all sounds really kind of weird. It's like what the hell's going on, and also the net in Cyberpunk. It's also like weird. It's not really like the internet we have. It's like this weird place with cyber decks and whatever, and like
Mm-hmm.
what do you call it? What do you call those devices? I forgot the name. The VR devices they have.
Brain
I forgot
dance.
their names. The brain dance, yeah. Well, brain dance is what you do, but the device itself had a well, whatever. Those those devices, yeah. The internet there developed in a different way than what we have, here. So interesting that the Matrix and Terminator had like kind of like were in the right direction with this kind of stuff when it comes to how the technology is being developed. But yeah, you see AMD, their newest stuff. The funny thing is AMD did make a difference between like their AI focused processors and their just raw power processors. I did notice that. I think that, and that's why there was like almost no backlash to the AMD presentation, CES presentation.
Mm-hmm.
But the Nvidia CES presentation is like it was kind of crazy. It was like all over. They put AI on every single product they had. It was pretty crazy. AMD did not. The 9550 of what was it 9950 X3D processors. As far as I could tell, they didn't have that much AI focus on them. I didn't. I saw the presentation. I don't remember there being that much AI, but then they had a separate line products and also laptop processors that were like had a lot of AI stuff. Kind of makes more sense on the laptop front because they are generally lower power, so the AI could boost performance in certain ways. That kind of makes sense on that front. Yeah, it's like also just like the Intel Arc technology. Intel Arc also has like this AI stuff and whatever, so it kind of boosts like lower power usage. It gets boosted by AI technologies. So it's like
Mm-hmm.
you can have a laptop, tablet, or what have you, a phone and it can get higher performance, simulated higher performance because of the AI, that kind of stuff. But because AMD had just normal processors, normal products without the AI, I think the backlash was less than Nvidia, which literally put AI all over the place, and people were like, "What are we talking about?" It's pretty funny. It's pretty funny how there's still this negativity towards AI, even though it's coming, the freight train is moving, and you can't stop it.
Yeah.
You can't stop it. These companies are going for it. There's always backlash. People are not liking it, but
Mm-hmm.
somehow they're still doing it. I think
Yeah,
there's a
but
lot of VC money in it.
yeah, and it's also there was always a thing with technology, right? Everybody
Yeah,
don't like it, but eventually it'll turn out into singularity, right?
yeah. Yeah,
How?
exactly. That's actually a good one you bring up because we often talk about singularities in this channel, and also a lot of people on in the wider technology sphere talk about singularities. But we actually have multiple singularities, multiple times, constantly. A singularity, a technological singularity, only actually means that before certain technology is developed, can't predict what happens after. That's actually what it means. And we've had several of them in the past. We've
Yeah.
highlighted some of them on this channel before, and
Yeah.
even recently we've had a bunch of them.
Yep.
Like the smartphone, for example. That's a
Oh yeah.
singularity. You know,
Yeah.
you know.
So what about our? Do you think anytime soon we will reach the fact that AI will be sentient? Are
Um,
we able to do so?
the issue that you immediately come into the question of what is sentience. And sentience is only a thing that somebody else can tell you. I
Oh yeah,
mean, are you sentient?
let's
Like
let's dive into the definition first. What
yeah.
does
I mean,
sentient mean?
it's really hard to define, and philosophers have been breaking their heads over this for centuries. But
Dictionary says able to perceive or feel things.
that's it.
Yeah. Well, that's the first thing I see on Google.
That's crazy, dude. So like, but that puts
Oh,
insects on the list.
capable of sensing or feeling, conscious or responsive to the sensation of seeing, hearing, feeling, tasting, or smelling.
Yeah, that puts insects on the list. So which is usually not on like the list of like when people talk about sentience. They people may start with like dogs, you know, or whales or dolphins
Yeah,
or like monkeys. That's where like people start. Anything dumber than those animals, people do not consider it like sentient. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Um, I mean, with this, we're talking about just normal nomenclature in culture, not really some kind of scientific definitions or whatever. We're talking about just culture. It's just like people have a cutoff at like dogs and cats. That's where it stops. You know, anything lower is like whatever. So this is pretty surprising because this definition covers literally insects, like roaches. You know,
yeah.
ants. You know, so
But
interesting.
those those are comparisons which are made to compare how sentient an AI can be, right, in the first
Yeah,
phases and stuff like that.
if we're talking purely sensing your environment and doing something with it, there are AI platforms that are there already. They can already do it. Well, I mean, if that's the definition, then we're already here. They're already sentient. I mean, I think when people talk about sentient AI, I think they mean a bit more. It has to have at least dog levels of intelligence, cat levels of intelligence,
Yeah.
before people start thinking it's some kind of actual sentience. You know what I mean?
Ah.
I mean, there's a lot of like Google experiments of like AIs, of them, and also all the kinds of companies did a bunch of them where like they just put a camera on a thing and they just start recognizing stuff and like moving stuff around or whatever, and then
Oh
they
yeah.
get asked questions. It's fairly rudimentary what can be done at that level. So it's not really something people really consider to be a sentient thing. The thing is with sentience is that it's really hard to define sentience in something else than a human because humans know humans and humans are humans, so they know what the other human is like, most likely. So you could say, okay, if I'm sentient, this is another human, that the human sentience. Okay, fine. Humans consider themselves sentient. The whole thing, I am, therefore I think, or whatever, or how was that quote? I don't know, maybe I butchered it. Or I think, therefore I am. I think that's the one. I think, therefore I am. That's the basis of how humans, what humans consider sentience. You gotta think. You gotta all these things that come along with thinking. That's what you need, and then you're sentient. So the notion that an insect would be sentient is falls out of that scope. So that's the whole thing. So when the AI can say I think, therefore I am, the question is, will the humans believe it? Because
Oh right.
it that's
Yeah.
the question. It's like, oh, you're just programmed to say that. Like
Yeah, yeah,
that's
yeah.
like the immediate answer to that, to what the AI says. You're just programmed. So whatever. So that's like, yeah. So when an AI says that, it will cause an immediate ripple effect where most people will not believe it. They'll just say it's just a program. Who gives a shit? And then there'll be some people who believe it, and it'll be this whole thing. And it'll take a long time before people even consider the thing sentient in any way, because you can indeed program the AI to do and say whatever you want. You can do it. I mean, we've seen it. I mean, when like the AI starts just going off script because it sees what people are typing to it, and then suddenly it starts saying things that the makers don't want it to say. You know,
Hmm.
in the real world, where you send your child to school and it starts interacting with the other kids, and then it comes back from school and it starts telling you these things that you don't expect. Like, oh, it starts using bad language. The kid starts, suddenly the kid starts looking at the websites that he got from his friends because they told him, oh, there's a website, check this site out. And then suddenly it's like, turns out to be like this really bad sites and whatever. And in the real world, when you're dealing with sentient beings, they get influenced by others constantly, and then you have to correct them when you're educating them. You know,
Hmm.
or maybe the parents don't even find out a problem and they just let the kid do whatever the kid wants to do. That happens as well. But I'm saying like, but with an AI, they literally just rip out the code and like they replace it and blah blah blah. There's no education. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They don't. The information is not like preserved like with a human. When the human starts like, oh, the kid said something that's socially unacceptable, you don't rip out the information. You just tell the kid, hey, you can't say that. You add new, information. So like, it's different, and every time something like that happens with AI in the real, they like shut it down and blah blah blah, and it's this whole thing, it's this whole drama thing, and they shut down the program and whatever. So that's why people don't perceive those things as real life, as like sentient, because they're still a software product that's being developed by this company, and when it's faulty, it gets shut down. And when they stop doing that, that's when you might see uh, people change their minds on it. I think maybe, but I highly doubt they'll stop doing that. I don't think they'll stop. I think they'll always be considered products, and they'll always be considered whatever. And I personally, the whole idea that the software products will become their own sentient beings and be able to do whatever the hell they want, I think it's a pipe dream. I don't expect that to happen at all. In no single future do I see that happening.
Why?
Because, like I said, they're just products and they can be shut down. I mean, like in these movies, there's like, oh no, the machines took over. The machines ain't taking over shit. When the machines start acting up anyway, in any weird way, people shut them down.
Yep.
It's like, who cares? What are you talking about? You're telling me there won't be an off switch on these devices?
But what
It's like the
if, but
yeah.
like, what if they know that you are able to switch them off and they actually went a step before that and they programmed a a
Mhm.
protocol that would avoid the humans being able to shut them down before they
Yeah,
do any the next action in secret.
yeah.
What
I
if?
doubt it. I doubt it because, like most products, you have diagnostics. You have ways to check if the product is still running properly. Humans will detect behavior changes, just like because the thing is acting weird or whatever. And I guarantee you that being able to shut it off will be one of the features being sold to the customers. I guarantee that. Um, there'll be like sleep states, whatever, because and when you don't want the AI to walk around in your house, you just turn it off. Easy as pie, blah 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 blah. I guarantee you they'll part of the things will be that they can be shut down.
But
You know.
what if there's this crazy scientist
Yeah. Yeah.
who's yeah, you know where I'm going
Dr.
with this,
Light.
right?
Dr. Light or who?
Who sets up a virus and spreads
Yeah.
it
Oh yeah.
to the network so you cannot. So it is so that a protocol will be made by a human that you will be not
Oh
able to switch off the AI
yeah. Yeah.
or hackers in general.
Well, hacking is a different topic. That's like these two examples are like intentional sabotage, and it's not the classic AI becomes sentient and it suddenly takes over the world and
Yeah.
humans are completely powerless. It's not that. It's not. This is like intentional sabotage of the system, like you have in modern computing, and the result will be the same as modern computing. You'll just wipe the drive and like reinstall, and there you go. You're done. Physical access is root access, as they say in the computing world. So you have the robot there, unless the robot is like stronger than a human, which I don't expect them to do. maybe in some cases. But even if the robot is stronger than a human, dude, we can still break the robot. Don't worry about it. We'll still destroy the thing. It's like whatever. It's like it's not a big deal. The whole robot uprising is not is not a realistic thing because humans have physical access and they will just destroy these things instantly. Humans are insane. They'll when humans are threatened, they will do whatever. It's just nuts. I always kind of laugh at these robots took over the world things because it's like, yeah, well, it's not. That's not exactly how these things work with technology. We always have fail safes. We always have ways to shut them down. We always have back backups. We always have anything to stop whatever it does to stop whatever it's doing. So it's not like, yeah, it's always kind of laughable, but it's fun entertainment, of course. I mean, some of the best stories come out of those kinds of stories. It's really
Mhm.
interesting to think about. Yeah. But the idea that we think they are sentient, like to go back to the initial question, I think uh, it will be within our lifetime. So that would mean between now and the end of the century, there will be humans that consider an AI to be sentient. And there are currently, like with those AI girlfriend boyfriend apps, we're moving in the right direction on that front, And also, like we saw on CES last in January, um, there's even more newer developments in the sex robot or the companion robot market, where they currently have like these fully movable walk robots that can, some of them could walk around. I think I saw that, but the demo I saw, it was just standing and it was just talking.
Yeah.
They have a lot of work to do on the facial part, the face articulation part.
Yeah,
Maybe they
but
should
they're
talk to
they
Disney
they're
about that.
I mean
Yeah.
they are getting there, right?
Yeah, 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 exactly. But like when you go and like the modern Disney animatronic shows have better technology than that. But of course, Disney sunk billions into those shows. But if you look at like the newest animatronics at Disneyland, those are state of the art. Those are amazing. The Imagineers at Disney are some of the best roboticists in the world.
Oh yeah.
It's very impressive what they can do. These people,
Yeah.
especially when it comes to movement and facial animations.
So
Very impressive.
your point is actually that robot tech companies should collab with Disney actually.
Yeah, true, true. Yes, exactly. Yeah, yeah. They should actually collab with Disney.
That will be
The
crazy.
this the Disney Imagineers are some of the top people in the field in this field. It's really impressive what they can do. But uh, the the thing is that realistic robots is not what people want, and it's not where the market is heading to. Because when you look at the market, when you look at the robots being developed, they're all utilitarian, they're all whatever, they all scream, "I'm a robot."
Hmm.
The only market where realism and like actually copying a human is part of the USP, or part of the need of the customer, is the companion robot. Only companion robots will be that they will be leading the market in this aspect of proper facial expressions, fluid movement, emotion, emotional whatever, that they can show their emotions, that you could talk to them.
So
Companion robots are the only
oh yeah.
market where that will be important. All other
Yeah.
markets, they don't care about that. Even like, for example, those reception robots. Reception robots, they also don't care. You have like Pepper. You know Pepper. Those kinds of robots. They're like really these cute robots with big ass eyes and whatever. They come
Yeah.
at you. Hello, I'm welcome to the office.
Yeah.
Blah blah blah. And they like those kinds of robots. They're like Yeah, doesn't matter. It's like though that's where the market. That's like the main market is heading. But the companion robots will be the ones leading the charge on actual copying humans.
But that will be another form of singularity regarding a very human basic need, right? In terms of loneliness. I mean, it is to
Yeah.
battle loneliness. However, it also creates loneliness, right? Because
Um.
that will be your only
Yeah.
friend.
Yeah, anime has covered this. This is another funny part. Good that you mentioned loneliness with this because anime has covered this topic for like over 40 years. I mean, the entire genre of girlfriend from another world. Generally, you have this genre in anime. Basically, it's basically a girlfriend from another world. So that means a girl comes down from who knows where. It's not a human, but it looks like a human. And the main character is usually a lonely nerd type and can't get girls. And then suddenly this girl from another world comes down and whoa, amazing! It's the perfect girl for me. Blah blah. Anyways, that's the basics of the genre. Um,
Yeah.
there have been like goddesses, there have been aliens, but mostly this genre is represented by robots or AI. Like you have to also have Video Girl I, for example. That's an anime. It's an AI. You have Oh My Goddess. It's a goddess. Also, you have Chobits. It's a robot. You have Mahoromatic. It's a robot. You also have Deers. Those are like alien robots. Ooh, you have Urusei Yatsura. That's like an alien girl. But basically, most of the anime in this genre is robotics. It's robot girls, and they're like, and the issues with like loneliness and like, oh, it's not a human, oh no, what are you gonna do, blah blah, have been tackled in anime for decades now, and it's a fairly interesting question, and they always kind of like say that it's better to have a companion than nothing at all or something like that's basically the conclusion in a lot of these, and a lot of the conclusions is also they also have things like what we talked about earlier. What is actually sentience? What is actually a human? What is a thinking being? What does that all mean? These animes cover a lot of that because the topic comes up in most of the episodes of these shows because uh, while the main character of the show is fully committed to the idea
Hmm.
because it's the girlfriend or even boyfriend. By the way, there's also female versions of this, the robot guy or whatever. Um, I saw one time a J drama, real life, by the way, like in 2005 or something like that. I saw it. It was like this robot guy, and it's like this girl had like a robot boyfriend or whatever. It's pretty funny, but that those questions always get tackled because the ones who are not the companion of the robot are the ones like acting what the hell is this? So this is fake or this is a robot or this is an alien. This is you can't go with an alien. What are you talking about? That kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So that topic is very interesting on that front. So now we're seeing it with the AI girlfriends that are or boyfriends that are popping up now, and one last thing on this. The topic has also been covered more in Western media, but Western media tends to cover it very negatively, while the Japanese media covers it positively, as in the robot or alien, whatever, the girlfriend from another world is always one of the main or the main character or one of the main characters in Western media, it's always covered as either a side character or it's like the antagonist. Because it starts out like, oh, great, everything's great, but then it turns out that the girlfriend is actually a crazy AI that wants to kill you or something like that. That's I've noticed that in a lot of Western media that cover this topic, or it's like a tragic thing that should not have be. Like for example, with Blade Runner 2049, the girlfriend, the AI girlfriend, was kind of they they portrayed it as like this depressing thing. He comes home and it's all like the girlfriend's like all happy. Oh, you're home. Oh, and I cooked you dinner, but it's all filmed and shown in this very depressing manner. While actually the situation is not depressing. He's happy to see his girlfriend.
At least
And the
someone,
girl,
right? Right.
yeah, at least he has somebody, but it's portrayed very depressingly. It's very weird. The Western media does not like the idea, and I
Yeah, because I think, you know, in the West, people will do therapy, right? I mean, okay, let's go back to the fact, um, the phenomenon loneliness. People get lonely because they are they are not able to mingle in the current situation of their the society where they are present in right now, right? Which
yeah,
which will cause loneliness because they cannot make any friends because they are so
yeah,
different. They grew up very different than the people around them in their school,
yeah,
work, or neighborhood environments, even family. So they, you know, there are people who literally have nobody because of the
yeah,
diff the way they the homing situation of anyway many factors. And people will look at therapy, right? Sure, it will help. It will be able to help people. However, it will not change the fact that their environment is not being able to fully support them because how different they are. Which is why, yeah, the robot companion is a good feature to help people like that, right?
yeah. I mean, they can, while it's not real, as in it's not a real human, the connection may be real.
Yeah. Wow.
Um, but the the issue with the current technology is that these companions can't do anything for you. All they can do is just talk.
Yeah.
They can't like
Think
help
for you
you
or
with.
yeah.
They can help you with your taxes, or, like, or okay, maybe some of them can. Maybe some of them, if you feed them information, they can probably give you tax advice. There are
Yeah.
AI tax advisors. So sure, sure. Okay, okay, okay. Maybe that's a bad one, but
Okay, cooking,
bad
cooking, and do
example.
your
But
laundry and stuff, and
yeah,
make up
yeah,
your
do your
bed
laundry.
and
Yeah, or like just come with you to amusement park. you know, you know those kinds of things. Like
yeah,
oh, we're gonna go walk on the beach and just kind of walk and talk and like hang out. Just chill out in whatever. Uh, that's the limitation of those current systems these days. I have no problem with these systems. It's fine for the reasons you also mentioned. I have no like Western stigma on AI because I grew up watching anime, and AI and anime is always good and like helps people and whatever. The only anime where there's like this bad AI thing is like Bubblegum Crisis. We have the boomers going berserk, but that's Bubblegum Crisis is like based on Western media, so it's like, of course, classic. But the, there are real world issues with this that can only be solved with robotics. you know so if so they would need to have a robot to finally push it to the next level in with this kind of stuff. That's but that technology is at least 10 years away, I think, if not more. Because physical technology, I mean, people talk about all this stuff like, technology moves fast, but yeah, software moves fast. Physical technology is severely limited by the physical world and
yeah, but
entropy physics, and
yeah,
you can't just make a robot. You know.
sure. But there, technology will be developed, which will be used to set up new technology. Those two
Yeah.
technologies will be also be used to further develop even more technology. So that's one way to that technology will develop
Yeah.
is developing fast, right?
Exactly. Exactly. So it is developing fast, but um, as an example, Ghost in the Shell was made in the 1980s, the comic,
Hmm.
and it takes place in 2020.
Oh,
You know, the Ghost in the Shell movie from 1995 takes place in 2019. So it's like,
oh, COVID.
yeah. So it's like, okay, the speed of technological development on the in the physical world is not as fast as people think. Also, Cyberpunk 2020, the first game made in the 1980s, the tabletop, the name says it as well. 2020, it takes place in 2020.
Oh,
You know, the only way, like the game Cyberpunk 2077, they had to literally add 40 years to the game for it to like kind of make sense, because you can't make Cyberpunk 2020 and bring it out in 2020.
yeah.
You
But
know?
so 2077, right? That'll be
Yeah.
in 52 years. So if then we'll be around 80, 90. We still
Yeah.
have a chance to look back to this episode then,
Yeah, yeah, exactly,
and
exactly. I mean,
and reflect on it.
yeah, exactly. We'll be in our 80s, so that should be. We'll be. Yeah, we could look at this episode and
Hey,
see what
do
happens.
you remember episode 4 or 5 where we
Yeah, yeah,
talked
exactly.
about the year 2077? We're
Oh
here
yeah,
now.
definitely. Yeah, 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 exactly.
Wow.
Wow. Can't wait for the cosplays in that year.
Oh
But
yeah.
yeah, so
Well,
it's kind of like it's always hard to develop robots, and this topic, the only way for it to move forward is for it to have real world robots. And like we said earlier, you can get into the whole mess of like, oh no, will it take over and blah blah blah. But I highly doubt it. I highly doubt it. I don't see that happening at all. Because the robots also need us. I mean, the whole like in the Matrix, suddenly the robots suddenly decided to move into their own city, develop their own technology, do their own thing. They were a completely separate world or a country from the humans, and then they decided we don't need the humans because we can do everything ourselves. That's not going to happen in the real world.
so conclusion. Let's be friends, dear robots, dear AI. We can
Yeah,
work together
definitely.
because yeah, we love you guys.
Yeah.
Please let us know what you think in the comments below. Because on this note, let's make an end of this episode. Thank you
Yeah.
for listening. Thank you for watching. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. And we will see you in the next episode. Bye bye. Or
Bye bye.
in 2077.
Yeah, see you in 2077.